Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So you remember that December BOXYLUXE that we just unboxed recently? Well, I promised you guys I would do a look with all the makeup inside, so here we are. Let's go ahead and zoom right in to start with the eyes. First up, I'm going to use the shade Thanks a Latte on a fluffy brush just to set my primer and add a nice light base. Then into the shade Bestie, I'm going to use this on the crease and I'm going to keep it fairly rounded because we're going to do a halo eye. Next up, with one of the Luxie brushes, I'm going into Wine and Dine and I'm adding this to the inner and outer portion of the lid and connecting it in the center. Now, I was really surprised with how pink this shade turned out. It looks like such a gorgeous wine cranberry color in the palette, but it really reminds me of Love Letter from the ABH palette. Then I decided to use a flat brush to pack that Wine and Dine shade on the inner and outer portion because it wasn't quite dark enough there for me. Next up, going into Teddy Bear, I'm adding that over the top of the Wine and Dine shade since it didn't end up being quite the cranberry shade I was hoping for. So these two mixed together give it a much richer tone. Next up, I'm spraying the kind of flat fluffy brush that came with the Luxie set and I'm going into the shade Cranberry Splash and I'm adding this to the inner and outer portion of the eye just to kind of make it a little bit more cranberry toned. And then for the center spotlight, I'm using How You Doin'. I'm layering this with that same wet brush, but this kind of ended up a little too dark for my liking, so I decided to go into the shade Cool Beans, still trying to brighten it up a little bit. This does the job and it is really pretty together, but it wasn't quite the direction I wanted to go in. So I decided to use So Jelly over the top, and it has like a little bit of a pinky iridescent shift, so I feel like that did the job. And then going into Glamping, I'm using this on the very farthest inner and outer portion of the lid just to add a little bit more depth, and then back into Cranberry Splash just to blend where the spotlight is. And that pretty much achieved what I was looking for. I did notice there was a good bit of fallout with those shades though, probably from packing on the Wine and Dine color. Now I'm just going to finish up the other eye, and we can move on to the lower lash line. So for the lower lash, I'm sticking with Wine and Dine first on one of the flat liner brushes that came with the Luxie set. I'm trying to just stamp it on, and then I'm going back into Teddy Bear and going right over the top of that. Then I mixed those two shades together with a pencil brush and I'm just running this underneath it to make it a little bit more smoky. And then I took that same fluffy brush that I started out with and just kind of blended the lower lash line out a little bit. Now I'm spraying a little detail brush with some setting spray and going into a mixture of the shade Ploof and So Jelly, and I'm adding this to the inner corner as a highlight. Now for liner, I'm giving the NYX liquid liner one more chance, and it actually worked out really great for me this time, so I'm guessing I wasn't allergic to the liner itself, and I actually do love how easy this liner is to use. And then for the lower lash line, I'm using the Lottie London AM to PM black liner for the waterline. Now using the Lorac mascara that came in the box, this was the Royal Treatment mascara, so I'm starting off with the primer. This is actually the first time I've ever used a primer for a mascara. And then of course I'm topping it with the black mascara. It ended up very, very thick and spidery, a little too thick for my likings. So I decided to take my little mascara lashes comb and just kind of comb out some of the clumps. And I do feel like that was much better. Now jumping into the Wandress Dusk to Dawn palette from the box, I'm starting out with Tuscan Sunrise on the cheeks, but it wasn't quite intense enough for this look, so I decided to dip into Havana Nights and just add that over the top, and this to me just added the perfect depth to balance out the eyes. I really like this blush. And then I'm just dipping into the highlighter from the palette, which is called City Lights, and I'm just highlighting all the usual places, the high points of the cheekbones, the tip of the nose, and the Cupid's bow. And last but not least, to finish off this look, I am using the Tartiest lip paint that came with the box, and mine was in the shade Flaming Hot, and I absolutely love this color. So this is the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did, and don't forget to subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching.